Hey guys, I guess it is time for us to make a little update on the market. Our previous video was kind of successful because all our predictions they were justified. Bitcoin and the market continued to go swing lower, chopping these ranges and preliminary the global accumulation zone. So now we are. What can we see at the chart of Bitcoin right now? We are getting closer and to this our yearly global counter trend line that we were holding as resistance for the whole year, almost. So definitely the situation is getting a little bit tighter here and more serious. And I think a significant strong move is coming in the next days, in the next few days. I guess mostly upon the monthly candle switch. And in 2 days, we are changing our monthly, and I'm following it because the way it closes is going to show us where are we going next and how we are going to trade in the next month or 2 or 3. So definitely it is very important to figure out. So we went lower. I was um, suggesting that if we lose the 19,200 zone support, we are going to go even lower, maybe to 16,000 at least, to print a new lower low. But we didn't. Actually, we held here nicely, and okay, that doesn't mean anything at the moment because yesterday we pumped a little bit strongly, but we met our resistance that held many times already around 20,450. A great resistance here. We held it here, here, and yesterday again. Definitely that doesn't say us in the long run nothing, because we can break it in the next time. For example, we are retesting now a significant resistance that was our support here around 19,500, 19,700. So definitely let's enable our occasion send shift and super trend favorite indicators. And what can we see here? So definitely I am expecting something like this. We either get retested, not here, we either retested up to this resistance and go back down, but we have some strong movement to actually fall that deep, or it is actually hard for me imagine how we are going to go up strongly, because we have to go strong after breaking this significant global counter trend line, because we have a lot of resistance ahead on the daily time frame. It is a high time frame actually. So definitely this rejection at this daily closing tells me that we are heading lower. Definitely if we will look at this daily super trend, we broke it, as it had to serve as support for us, but we broke it here. Interesting thing, that on the Bitcoin CME chart, we have held it actually, and we are retesting it, and but this occasion send shift resistance creates some problems here that it will be very hard to break it and resecure. So definitely the situation right now is kind of controversial, and I still slightly stick to the with the chance that we can go lower from here, that we won't break it right now. We can a little bit make resistance here, because if we got to retest this daily super trend resistance and both Kijun-sen shift resistance, we won't be able to make a great move up after breaking this counter trend line, and that contradicts to the market mechanics actually. So technically, if we break it, we will have to go like this and then go up. And definitely, I know where our resistance is going to be from now on. Definitely this blue line, trend line, that was our support before, is going to be our resistance from now on. I highly doubt that we are going to break it, maybe with some, in case we are breaking this global counter trend line and go up. I highly doubt that we will break it, and I think we are going to swing in this global range, accumulation range, for a long time. And technically, I would tell you that if you remember my previous videos, market reviews, this global counter trend line is going to hold as our resistance for a long time. So basically, if we are going up from now, so definitely we won't see the bull market. Yesterday we had that pump and everybody started talking about Bitcoin is going to 320,000 to the new all-time highs. This is a nonsense, because if we do not fall right now to at least 16,000, or in the zone, in the ultimate, at the ultimate zone of 14,000, like I assumed before, that means that this bear market or accumulation phase and zone is going to last much longer than we, all of us crypto enthusiasts or retail investors, have expected. Definitely it is going to be postponed. All the all-time highs are going to be postponed for a very long time if we go up from now. And we have actually all those reasons to go up right now. Why? Let's look at our S&P 500 index that we are following, and we know that Bitcoin follows it very nicely. And what we can see here on the monthly time frame, we marked our expectations and we reached our support here that I was mentioning before on my Twitter account. We actually got rejected right here upon the global counter trend line, and we swing lower and dumped right here. Definitely this on the monthly time frame, if we won't lose it, we will hold it, and we will start the new month most probably with some recovery. And there are small chances right now that until the end of this month we will fall down. Something serious has to happen on the fundamental news market about this, but I don't know what can happen. Maybe the nuclear war or something like that, only in that case. But for now, we have on the, not on the weekly, our daily is holding strong here, as we can see. And today is the Wednesday, and we have time to swing higher. So technically, Bitcoin also has the chances to go a little bit higher, and I think we are going to retest at least this range resistance, red one, and get back down, or we will be going much higher and we will retest it, retest up to this intersection of resistances of our previous lost trend line, local, not local, maybe midterm line, and we will reject here, and then we will go lower. Only then 3,300 or 3,260 is my all-time, I guess, in this cycle, at not cycle, in the coming year. I think it is going to be our lowest low. As you can see, I built this support here, and we have this global trend line on the S&P 500 futures, and I think sooner or later we will come in this lower range and we'll find our global support. But I'm not sure, it is not guaranteed. Make your own research. Those are my thoughts only. So let's get back to Bitcoin. I guess it is clear for us that this global counter trend line resistance is crucial for us. And even if we close this daily with this green candle, that doesn't mean that we are set to break this resistance and go strongly higher. Not. We have this previous candle that is telling us that we have to go lower technically, but we have some other mood on the S&P, and as we follow it, we can go against all these candles and odds. You have to keep that in mind. Therefore, we have to be very careful here. But until we break this resistance to the upside and secure this Kijun shift support, I'm not expecting bullish momentum until this resistance. And if we do, then of course I'm expecting the price around $24,000-$25,000 at least. Not talking about 34, but 34 would be the limited. It is going to be the limit for me. That after that the price is not going higher, and we will start to go retest our higher lows, at least higher lows. So definitely we have to follow and be very careful right now, because any news can change everything, and we still are not having the strong ground under our feet here on the market. And as you can see, Bitcoin is still trading under 19,500, and that is not a good thing for us at the moment. So let's look at our market cap. And as we can see, happened the thing that I explained in our previous video. These two global trend lines on the market chart, they work splendidly for me. As you can see, we broke to the upside, then got back under it, and as soon as we got retested again upon this green global line and proceeded lower. Now we are testing our midterm range resistance alongside with this orange trend line. So definitely, if we for us to become bullish, we have to resecure them both and go stay above them. So definitely we have to retest this global trend line as support to be able to say that we have turned bullish, at least in the midterm period. But if we are not, and I don't see any power at the moment, then we are going lower. First of all, we are going to retest our global support this year of the crypto market. So definitely we at least can retest this one and get rejected and go back lower. And this is where we will find our first global support, I think. I don't say that we can break it and go lower. Technically, on the higher time frame, we actually can. If we remove all the drawings, okay, we see nothing clear at the moment. Let's look at the weekly. And yes, at the weekly we have a good week that we can and would likely recover. On the monthly too. So technically we also have some space to go, at least to this 765 billion market cap. But in the long run, that we can go even lower. But I do not guarantee that. I'm only sure about that we will hit 765 again, but not talking about further directions. It is too early to make those conclusions. Okay, let's start with our altcoins. I guess it is clear about the Bitcoin situation and what we are expecting from it, from the leading asset of our market. Now let's proceed to TRON. Why TRON? Because I explained it a lot of times already on my Twitter account and here in my market reviews, that TRON has a very good and very understandable candle pattern. As we can see, we have this on the weekly chart, on the strong high time frame weekly chart, we have this uncovered wick that will be covered sooner or later. And even on the monthly, it is a strong technical sign for us that we will be back to recover it sooner or later. And what we can see here, almost we additionally finally have lost our global trend line here as support that we held for a long time. Definitely before we broke our counter trend line, that was our resistance, and we were sliding upon it as our support, as I was telling you that this is going to happen. And what now? Technically we have the opportunities, depending on how we are going to close our weeklies and monthlies, we have the opportunities. Of course, this counter trend line is going to serve as support, so we are going to slide upon it. I don't think we are going to break it. But for example, if our weekly closes this green, we will try to retest this trend line as resistance, and each time we are going to reject from it and go lower and lower, making a midterm expansion until we cover this wick, until we proceed into this zone here. That is kind of clear for me. These are my expectations and they have the reason. Of course, if we bounce back and retest this global trend line as support and secure it, then of course we can start recovering, but I don't think we will recover higher than 8 cents at that point, and then we start again going back down. Something has to happen that sooner or later we will recover this wick. It has to be inevitable, kind of, in my understanding. So definitely I stand to that. Let's proceed to MINA, as we have an interesting situation there, and I shared it in my Twitter account many times, and I guess in my previous video too. So when my last prediction was here, and I was telling you that we are retesting this purple line as resistance. Also, we had this helpful Gijun and super trend resistances, but we didn't get there. I told you that those are going to be our midterm resistances, but we even didn't get there, and we found resistance right upon this purple counter trend line local. And I told you that if we get rejected here, we are going back down in our zone of lows, and we are going to find support from this red local counter trend line, and we actually did. We found this support, and I was telling you that we are expecting, I'm sorry, going to remove this drawing. So I was telling you before that we are going, if we find resistance here, we will fall to this line and we will start swinging and renewing our local bottoms. But we found a strong support upon our global bottom of MINA, and definitely it was a good time to buy. But locally, if you were buying here, you have to put your stop loss below this 54.7 mark in case we go lower. So technically now what I am expecting now, we are making an expansion here. We either secure this bottom, and this becomes our global bottom if we break this resistance, secure it, and go higher. But if not, let's enable our Kijun-sen shift and super trend. We still got this resistance. We can go higher here. If we get retested and get rejected, then most likely we either retest this again and break this Kijun here when it is flat and retest it and then go higher. Or if we do not find support upon this rejection here, then we are going lower. And how low it can go, well, nobody knows, because MINA hasn't history out there, and it is at the lowest exploration phase, would be, and is now actually. So definitely I would wait the price. If we lose it, definitely I would wait the price around 40 cents, because actually 40 cents also was the public sale price of the retail investors during its before its listing on exchanges. So technically we have to be prepared for these scenarios. And you remember that I own MINA from my buy at 58 cents, and if it breaks below this 54 cents, I'm going to sell it and rebuy lower. For now, I guess it is clear. Let's proceed to Atom. Everybody is hyped about Atom, the thing that the asset that I was telling you in, I guess, in the middle of 2021, that Atom is going to reach $100 in the next 2-3 years. So it marked its bottom around $5.50 and $6, and unfortunately I didn't buy there. I don't know, I was a little bit distracted at that moment, so I didn't buy it by those good and tasty prices, but I was shorting it from its tops successfully. And now we have these global trend lines here, and what can they say to us? Since we touched this $6, $7 support, Atom has got the strength, and it started pumping because a lot of people predict that Atom has a good future. It has a good tokenomics that allows the price to thrive, and I was telling it the whole time before. And also Atom, you can use it to stake it on the blockchain, and you receive the airdrops of other Cosmos ecosystem projects that are being started on their blockchain. Also, there are some assets like Injective that I also mentioned, and Akash Network, that are going to do mostly the same soon alongside with Atom, so they are worth our attention too. Definitely we were running high and confidently, but now Atom has met its major range resistance and fell down alongside with the whole market. But what is interesting here, that we are drawing this midterm trend line, and it works perfectly for us, and it is going to be our major indicator. How is that? For example, now we marked this global trend line purple and local trend line blue support, and there are two possibilities here. We either, and look at how great it looks on with the Kijun-sen shift and super trend also. So technically we have a strong support here, very strong, because both indicators here at the same spot. So if we break this resistance that we have here, we are going to go higher, and maybe even for the break of this range resistance, and we can go higher and higher until we get back for the retest. But in case we lose this trend line and all these indicators, technically if we fall down, then it is going to be our strong resistance, and we are going to get rejected here. It is going to be a great spot to short, and we are going exactly to back to this zone. At least that is what is obvious to me, playing it level to level according to our education. So technically it is very understandable. If we break it, we are proceeding into this zone, and 26 is going to be our major resistance here, major, and we will be back for the retest of this range support, and then we will decide the further direction. We either draw something like this and go for another leg up, or we are losing both and we are going lower. And in case we lose it right now, we retest it and go back to our basics and drawing some kind of a high time frame on the weekly double bottom. That would be great, actually. So keep this information in mind and trade it accordingly. Next, let's proceed to KNC. That is the asset that I was shorting actively right on the highs. I caught it at 553, I guess, and was shorting until 4 and something. I don't remember, but definitely it was worth the wait, and I could get much more profit, but I didn't actually, because it took a long time for me to hold it, that short, excruciating short, until it gave me some profit. But the profit was good, so I'm not complaining here. It was worth it. Now I was shorting it here, also a very hard situation. Hard short was here, but it was clear to me that we will hold this 197 based on the weekly Kijun resistance here. I was shorting here and taking the profit somewhere around 160, I don't know, 150, and then I closed this short because it was clear to me that we are switching the weekly candles, and there were possibilities here that KNC is going higher, and it actually did. As you can see, we proceeded higher, also met this resistance of weekly Kijun as always, and got reversed, and actually KNC dropped heavily, very heavily. So, and since then I drew this drawing that I was having here, and this zone is a great long-term support for me. As you can see, these circles, they are showing that this zone has a lot of orders placed here, and it was the zone of re-highs from which we are either dropped dead or we were taking off for the bull run. So definitely I was telling you all this ascending movement for the last months, that Kyber Network token is going back to this 85 cents zone. It was obvious to me. So definitely I was telling you that we are either, as you can see, I am waiting for the monthly closing. If we close like this without any significant weeks below in this monthly candle, then I am expecting for KNC to go much lower, but not. I don't think it is going to happen immediately. It is going to be through some recoveries, maybe. So technically, it is possible for us. Again, it all depends on how the monthly is going to close and what is going to happen in the next 2 days. So technically, what we can have here again is either we hold here and we start the new monthly with the ascending mood, and we start recovery, and we will retest this global trend line that we are respecting many times already, and we will get rejected right here, and we will be back to this line, maybe even break to this purple, and we'll recover it very soon. So technically, if you would like to catch a good short on KNC, wait for it to retest this pink trend line around 165, 160, 167, I don't know, 170. So definitely, even if the market starts the recovery, KNC is going to be weak, and it is going to be limited with its ascending thrivings. Definitely take that in mind. For me, it's all clear here. Let's proceed to our Akash Net token. And happened the thing that I was telling you in the last video. Definitely, we had this global trend line, and the moment we lost it, I told you that it is going to be our resistance line from now on, and it served as resistance greatly. As you can see, we held this range support, but then we lost it, and we are proceeding in our macro zone of interest. I'm not sure at the moment how we are going to trade it. I have the ideas. For example, we either mark this support, excuse me, right, let's enable, yeah, it works fine. We either retest this support and get for some kind of recovery, meet strong resistance at this range resistance, and get back down, and probably we will fall even right like this in our juicy zone of 18. I don't think we are going to 18, but 19.22 cents is a very, very good buy opportunity here for Akash Network. And if you look at the macro levels, not on this chart because this is the chart from Gate.io, it is limited, yeah, only the descending chart. But if you look at the long-term ascending chart, we have great opportunities on Akash Network token here, and you can follow it also from the fundamentals that Akash Network was listed on most of the top exchanges like Huobi, KuCoin, Kraken, and Crypto.com and others. So there's only Binance and Coinbase that have left, and definitely they will get this token. I think will get its attention because I see that Messari Crypto Research Group making a lot of comparisons and research on this asset and this company, and they definitely, Akash Network was used for the Ministry of Defense of the United States to deploy or open their services on secret network and using AkashNet powers. So definitely this has a great opportunities in the future, and you can see our global trend line that was respected many times, and it is going to be our major resistance, and it is going to show us the road during the next bull run, and the possibilities and opportunities of the return are very high here. For example, if we buy from now, we can have more than 2000% here. The opportunities are great here. So if you are willing to risk and stake it, also with 17% APY on the Cosmos blockchain, then it is actually worth it. So let's proceed further. Solana, I don't remember which chart I was supposed to use. I guess this one, yes. So Solana, my thoughts on Solana are the same, and I repeated it many times in our previous videos. So basically, we have retested this daily Kijun plus super trend as resistance. Here we proved that we are going back lower, that we are continuing our downtrend. Now again, we had this spike on the market and we had this candle. Most likely it means that we have to go lower, but not guaranteed. We have to look for other indicators and follow this. We can also draw an additional trend line and say this way: we can, if the market goes higher, Solana can go higher until this $47-48, retest this and go back lower. So definitely I'm not buying Solana until it gets to $19-20. Maybe I don't know, maybe we'll mark even $15-16, but I cannot tell you that right now. It is early to say so. We have this additional misleading support here. It really high. Definitely this is going to be the major zone, I guess, for us. But I would start buying around $19-20 if we get there. And this is going to be a very good long-term buy opportunity for Solana, for the believers of Solana, because as you can see, we have this week, and it would be nice for us to recover it. And what is the potential of Solana of running? Some people say it is going to be like the Ethereum in 2018. So we are going that low and we are going very high during the next run. I don't know, maybe we are, but maybe not, because a lot of people having in thought that scenario and those expectations are betting heavily on Solana, and it wasn't that way in 2018. In 2018, even the hard believers in Ethereum, some of them were simply disappointed and scared, but they held their Ethereum assets or maybe even bought it on the during the bottom. But some of people got really scared and didn't believe, and they thought that crypto is going to zero actually, so they didn't buy it, and if they bought, they sold much earlier than the time that Ethereum broke even $1,000. So definitely it is a question whether Solana is going to repeat the destiny of Ethereum. But if it does, I don't know. I don't need that. I have the indicator. I have this. I'm building an additional global trend line to the existing one that is serving as a resistance for us now. I'm building this additional one. And let's look at it, how useful it can be. And it is actually useful. As you can see, we built it right, maybe a little tight, but I don't think so. It is a good trend line. Why? Because it is a working trend line, because it is the trend line from where we held our road, recovered, restored, held as support again, held as resistance here, broke and took off, held as support, and then as resistance. So definitely it is a worthy driving the asset line that can tell us a lot. So definitely we have to follow this line from now on as our target of highs on Solana during the bull market. It will help you understand where to sell Solana or whether to hold it more. How is that? Definitely, I'll give you an example. For example, we are getting back here, recovering here, breaking this one and going parabolic, and we'll hit here. It is the place where I would sell, technically, if we would ever get there. If we would have a great strong run and Solana outperforms, I would sell there. If, for example, I can't zoom out more, so if we restore, get back, for example, if from there we can see some absorbing candles forming, then it is a great sign for us that we have topped out and we are going back lower, and this would be the great place to rebuy for the bounce and maybe for the next run, who knows. Only if we break and resecure this line as support, we can wait for another leg up, but that is a little bit fantastic at the moment. This $340 would be already a great income for you if we bought here, if we get here in this zone and we buy here. So keep that in mind, use that information at your disposal. Okay, let's look at Litecoin. I never usually look at it that actively, but tonight it makes a little bit of, represents a little bit of interest for me. Well, let's find out. Okay, you got to know that in 300 days, I guess 311 days, Litecoin is having its halving, so the reward for the miners is going to decrease in half, and it is after each Litecoin halving, usually Litecoin has a little bit of drawdown, and from there it starts to accumulate the reaccumulation and the push higher. So definitely we have what we have on this chart, on this long Coinbase Litecoin chart. We have this great global trend line that we lost already, and it serves as resistance. If we look closer here, we are retesting this both here, the super trend and Kijun shift. If we are going here, retesting and go back lower, then we are going lower. What you need to know here that will help you trade it nicely, for Litecoin to be bullish, it has to re-secure this global trend line, break it, retest it as support, and then you can enter and it goes higher. But at the moment I have a candle on the weekly time frame, which is a high time frame actually, and it is worth to listen to it. We have also on the monthly that two uncovered weeks. This one around were the around $40, 41, 40, and this one around $26, 25. The older one. And as you can see, as I always tell, we always come to those uncovered zones, and there is a possibility for us to mark this bottom. This $25, $30 bottom is going to be a great buy for you in the long term, and I'm telling you, and you can buy it and trade and use your Litecoin as margin to do the same as we did with Bitcoin in 2018, increasing the amount of your Litecoins, and you may be successful in the future if you believe in it. Definitely Litecoin has attention of some institutionals and other hedge funds of the traditional market, so definitely at some point it can be paid off to you. So let's back to the weekly. We have this absorbing candle that I don't like, although like vice versa, I like it for my shorting purposes and for our purposes, for if you are willing to accumulate it. So definitely it tells me that unless we recover it and get higher than this candle and invalidate this scenario, we are going, for example, retest this trend line as resistance and fall back under to have the indicators. It is the place, if you see the rejection here upon it, you can open a short and wait for us to get back lower. Also, you can add here a trend line, local trend line, that will help you see the invalidation. As you can see, here it is. Have this trend line on the daily, looks perfect here. Now we have to adjust it a little bit better. For example, we can build it here. Okay, and it looks perfectly here for the short entry in that case. So definitely, if we get for a retest of this set of resistances, and we will find here rejection, two resistances right out here. I don't know, Kijun's, no, not here. Oh, we have the super trend resistance right here. So definitely if we see this rejection, it is a sign for us to open a short here and wait for us go lower. Definitely we already broke the super trend support, so we are going for the retest. If we get rejected and won't break this super trend resistance, then we are set to continue our descending trend. This is the idea for the trade of Litecoin, and definitely you already understood that $25-30 is a good accumulation zone from which we already took off many times, as you can see here, and maybe this time, not guaranteed. So trade accordingly and play it level to level. Next, let's look at NEAR. You know that I have ideas on NEAR, my own ideas, and I am expecting some interesting feedback from it, revenue. I didn't share it on my Twitter account. I shared it with my private group subscribers, but I told them, showed them this pattern that I think is kind of similar of what we have in here. So technically we have here two global trend lines. The green one that we already lost, and it serves as the resistance, serves as good. And this lower red trend line, which marks our total lows in the different periods of time. So we have, and I marked two targets for my accumulation of NEAR. We either find here major reversal or upon this line around $1.80 $2 or maybe even $1.65. I'm not sure at the moment, but we need some volatility to come there. So definitely we either reverse here and we'll have our final bottom on near somewhere here or right here. And near represents a great value for me because I think during the next bull run it is going to be perform well. I think that in the coming years Grayscale is going to add this asset to their funds. So, and after that these assets usually skyrocket like the others they added before in 2018 2019. So definitely we have to pay attention to near. I'm expecting it to mark 20 from 20 22 to 30 34 dollars in the next 3 years. So definitely I'm interested in buying it and using it as margin to accumulate more near and not looking at the dollar price of near since then. So definitely I am willing to accumulate it. Also, I have a strategy of buying near of the accumulation near, not the one that I shared with you before. Not my classic strategy, but some other strategy. If you like to hear about it, let me know in the comments. I will make another video dedicated exactly to that strategy that I am accumulating near. So definitely it is clear for us we either locally find here support and get a reverse here and go higher, and we will meet a great resistance here around 477, and we either finding that resistance either get back and dive below and go to our ultimate target, or we proceed higher. But for now I need to see how the near monthly is going to close. As you can see, we have a great monthly absorption here. I will remove this for now. If we close like this or without any lower wick at all, it is a strong signal that we are having another leg down. For example, to $2.40 to $32, I don't know right now, but I have my targets either $1.85 or $2.30, $2.50, somewhere there. And I need to see how the monthly is going to close. If we are getting bought back, and then we have another history here. But if we close, for example, like this, and or even the lower, the less is the lower wick on this candle, the better for our targets to go lower and for our chances. So if we close like this, for example, we can locally a little bit recover within the month, but then we will dive under, retest this line as resistance, and fall back at least here. So definitely this is one to watch for me, definitely. Let's proceed now to Chiliz. I was talking about Chiliz many times before, and I tried even trading it. First time I entered in my short a little bit too early, but then I re-entered and had a great run, a good one, but then I cut it because the strength on Chiliz was suspicious to me. I knew that we will have to come back from 24 to 18, and I built even this zone here. It was clear here after this candle, after that candle, it was clear to me that we are coming to 18 cents. But I was hoping that sooner or later we will, for example, right here, we will retest. Wait a minute, I will remove this one, local. I thought that we will retest this global trend, counter trend line, and we will reject here. Then we will draw either head and shoulders or the double top, and we will be back here, and we will be back to our global trend line. But this didn't happen, or not maybe there, but at least 14-15 cents somewhere here. But this didn't happen. In that case, I wasn't trading at that time already, because I took my profit, a little profit, but I saw the strength on Chiliz, and I decided not to touch it until I see some bigger clarification. And we have Kijun shift here on the weekly, and it will serve as a great assistance. For now, what we have here, definitely we are waiting for the weekly and the monthly closing. The monthly closing kind of promising right now, but I don't see that way. Also, we have two lines here, one on the daily that served as a support, then we lost it, then again retested, rejected, but then again tried to break it up, and that allowed us to break the counter trend line, which is now our support, and we are going to slide upon it as support. So definitely what I am expecting here, and also I added this another trend line local, and it is at the same spot where is our daily Kijun support, and it is great information because now it is going to be our indicator. So definitely, as we dived under this line, I told you that we will play this purple trend line. I will cover it. We'll color it another color. Maybe green one. So definitely it is going to be our resistance. So I'm expecting something like this. We either slide upon it and get rejected each time we touch it, and this is a great short entry for the Chiliz until we get to this, or if we break it and secure a support this line, we are going higher until somewhere where we see this weekly Kijun resistance, and that is it is going to be the place where I am going to take a short. If we are getting very strong and we pump here, I'm getting short here, and we'll be waiting some retracement. If not, if we are closing this, if we are trading under this green line, then I am going to find the short entry each time we get rejected upon this resistance, and definitely one way or another we will be back to this purple line as support, as our support. And I think that at some point we will be back to 14 cents, and we will be back to this global trend line. Not guaranteed, but I'm looking into it because we've got an uncovered zone right there. Usually we cover them, not immediately, but we have a good chances. It is hard at the moment. We need more information from the candles right now to understand where we are going. For example, if we are falling under, not like this. For example, if we are falling right here, then it is most likely we are going to retest it, and we will find support at this global counter trend line. So definitely right now we are proceeding to go higher to make an expansion for our recoveries and retests, global retests. And of course, or there is a chance if we go in here and open up somewhere here and use this trend line as our resistance, we can find it as resistance and go back down for the retest of this global trend line. Something like that I'm expecting from Chiliz. But trading this asset has to be very careful and low margin because it is very volatile in both directions. So you got to be prepared. Let's look at the optimism. I don't know, somewhere here around 140, 137. I was telling everybody in my Twitter account that Optimism is going to 80 cents. For now, it didn't mark that price yet. We only came to 86 cents, not bad too. But I think that eventually we will not only, if we lose this 86 cents support, we're not only getting to 80 cents, we are getting back to 65, 66 cents. I am expecting the price there. But before that, we can have some recovery. Why? Let's look at this absorbing line candle that we have here. If our weekly and why I was telling you that we are going lower, after I mentioned this in my previous video, if you watched it, I was telling you that this absorbing monthly candle is telling us that we have to draw another one, and this one has to be at least of the same size. If we are not drawing it until the monthly close, we can have some recovery and then continue the descending move. And for that, we can have this weekly chart, and we can see here an interesting situation. We have an absorbing candle, not that absorbing, but the candle that we can recover. So technically, the new weekly, the new monthly starts, we can start recovery here, another one, and we will find resistance right here, and we will reverse here, and we'll get back to our 80-65 zone. That is what I am expecting from Optimism, that it will be at around 65, 80, 70 cents. I don't think it is you can avoid this situation and this turn of events. Let's look at the Filecoin, shall we? Filecoin is interesting because I made an interesting video dedicated to Filecoin and my targets on it, around from $80 to $120 in the next 3 years. So, and it has some juicy prices right now. And if we look at it, right now we have some interesting information. Here we see the situation that I was telling you about. We have the monthly Kijun resistance right there, and we came exactly to this resistance and got rejected and went lower. From now on, we have this absorbing candle, which is not very good, and it tells us that technically we have the chances to go lower, around to $3 or $4.40, I don't know, somewhere there. Basically proceeding to the lower range. But if monthly closes like this, we have the chances of the recovery, a good chances for the recovery. So we have to follow this one too. For now, it looks like we found our bottom, maybe even global bottom. I don't think we are going to break this resistance until we reach this flat Kijun space, or maybe somewhere here. But for now, we have to follow how it's going to behave right here. We have this very small local range resistance, and we are going to retest this super trend and Kijun as resistance. So technically, if we get rejected right here, I would look for us to get back at least to our support. If not, then most likely, or if the rejection or the absorption is going to be limited, then we are going to recover from here, retest it, and go back to $11. This is looks like a major global accumulation zone for the Filecoin for me, for now, until we see some proofs. So definitely it is not hard to trade Filecoin at the moment. It has a good potential for me in the long run. The asset fell fell more than 97%, and it still has the chances to go to 90, almost 99 if it marks $3 or 260. Crazy stuff. But this asset is in the grayscale fund, and I think that some institutional investors will be willing to accumulate it. And actually this zone looks great, but there are some dangers that we can go lower in case we break this support, 496, $5 support. If we break it, we can go lower. If not, then we are going to, it is going to be our final bottom. Okay, let's proceed to other asset. Let's look at the asset that I didn't look at for for a long time. Stellar. A lot of people are talking about it right now. What we have here, an interesting situation. We dumped into our global lower range of accumulation historically. As you can see, we went even lower than that, but of course, because Stellar has more than 50 billion assets in circulation, but in total. So, but Stellar is the asset that can be used by the governments to fulfill their services and to execute some of their tasks. Definitely, this is why Stellar is pumping all the reasons for the runs and for Stellar to skyrocket is the announcement of some partnership with traditional companies of the traditional market or some governmental agreements. So definitely we will expect more agreements of that from Stellar and some bigger adoption maybe. But we have this global trend line that we already lost. Good thing here, but we are now in the lower range. So definitely in the mid of this lower range. So definitely for me, there is this understanding that we can, and a good price for me to buy Stellar if I would like to buy it would be 7 from 7 to 8 cents accumulation zone. That would be for me a good place to buy, and the only place I would buy it. As you can see, this global trend line will show you the potential of the Stellar's upcoming runs in the upcoming years. So it is going to be your point of control that will show you where you have to sell, when you can sell, definitely. So let's look at Cardano. A lot of people are hyping around it, telling that the future is behind it, and it hasn't showed itself yet, but I don't know how it didn't show itself, because Cardano, if you look at it, has more than 45 billion in supply, and the asset marked $3, more than $3. Most of the products they promised, they didn't deliver. Expectations were high, execution was low. So if you can see, in my opinion, I'm not accumulating Cardano. I'm not a believer in it, but I am not right in it. I may not know things about it. It is no normal thing. Everybody invests in something that he believes. So definitely here is a clear situation for me. We have this global trend line, green. We have this, let's maybe enable Kijun shift. Yes. So basically it makes sense here. I'm expecting it much lower, somewhere here in the 17 cents. That's the only space where I would buy it. The asset with 45 billion coins, not likely to extend $10, not likely even extend its previous all-time high. So basically there's a chance we won't even make the new all-time high here. I'm not telling it is not guaranteed, but here is the situation that we can trade and understand good. If we hold this major support of this global range, we either get here and hold, maybe even retest this global trend line as support, and if we break it, it is a good time to open a long. When we break this midterm counter trend line, and where we are getting at, where is our target, is somewhere here. It is going to be the place that we are going to reverse and get back to it, for the at least for the retest. Not telling you about the going lower. It is soon to make that prediction, but definitely if we break to the upside, we are going to into this zone. These are the targets for you for opening your positions or buying spot, and where you have to close it. But because I don't think we are going to break this global range resistance from the first attempt. Okay, let's proceed to what we haven't looked at yet. Let's look at the Sushi. Sushi has an interesting situation. Not a lot of people are into it because they made some revolutionary changes to this asset, to this company. A lot of CEO stepped down, and they are choosing the new CEO and other stuff, but they have their new roadmap 2.0 and a lot of plans. Who knows what is going to happen, but the thing is, this asset is one of the, after the Uniswap, Sushi is the second, like Ethereum for Bitcoin. So this is the one that they are going to pump during the next bull run when the altcoin season comes. This is the one underrated that can be pumped hard, like the Ethereum Classic was in 2021 pumped. Nobody believed in it in 2019, 2020. A lot of people abandoned it. It was worth only a few dollars, but then it pumped very hard in a few weeks. So the same situation can happen with Sushi, and I was telling you that buying around $1.90 is a good buy for the long term, because Sushi has great potential to recover at least $12 to $12, $16, $18. So the run can be great. And also Sushi is the one asset that you, for example, can on the FTX long it, use it as margin, and increase the quantity, the amount of your Sushi tokens in your bag. Definitely here what we can see, we see some great resistance here. Kijun can confirm that. And even let's turn on super trend. We have this great, we broke this super trend support. Now we are retesting this. We have this local range resistance. We have this super trend Kijun resistance. Great space for us to understand. We either get back and get rejected here, and maybe we will be saved here and break through. Then we will break our global counter trend line. One of them, we have this crazy move here. I don't know, I don't think it counts a little bit, but if we look at this, we can see that we are ready to break through this global counter trend line, and that is going to be a great sign for us. And the question is only in which order we are going to break it. We either get back here and we will be back for the retests and go back, start the new run, or we get rejected here, we get some fake break of this low, and we are breaking it finally, or we can get rejected and proceed to even lower, and this is going to be last leg down where we have to buy heavily, and then we are going to go higher. So definitely Sushi looks attractive for me right now. Especially it is clearly understandable for trading, opening longs, shorts, whatever. And last for today, I guess, is going to be CRV. A lot of people are so psyched about this curve, and a lot of and it has a lot of trusted value locked, and definitely it is worth paying attention to CRV. But as the one of the leading DeFi projects, a lot of talks around it, a lot of money invested in it, but I'm not that psyched about it because of its supply, total supply. I don't like that max supply is more than 3 billion tokens, only 500 million in circulation, but that's okay. A lot of it are locked for the liquidity, but definitely that supply puts some limits for the upside potential. We during the bull market, CRV reached more than $7, and that is already a record for the asset with that supply. Definitely we have to look at this and pay attention that it behaved strong. It behaved strong during this bear market compared to other assets that fell 90%. How much we fell here? 92. That's okay, but for now it is expensive for me, and I shared in my Twitter account that we have this set of resistances right here, as and I told you that we need to somewhere here. I told you that we have this Kijun and super trend resistance, and it is going to be hard for us to break it. And we have this counter trend line, also resistance, and the moment we lost this trend line, I told you that we are going to slide under it as resistance, and we did, and then get rejected and go lower and retest our range support. So now what? Hard to understand right now. From what we see, we had a great spilling candle here, so technically we can do what we can do based on the market and Bitcoin itself. We kind of can find some recovery and meet some resistance upon this counter trend line and get lower. For that, this asset, to be able to buy it, for me, I would need at least, I would wanna recover this candle actually and I wouldn't buy it higher than 60 cents. But that's me, because it is too expensive for me with its supply. Definitely 38 40 cents up to 60 cents would be a good buy, a long-term buy. But for me, now for me it is too expensive, so I don't pay my attention to this. So definitely give me some feedback, what you liked about this video analysis, what you didn't like, what assets you would like to be analyzed. And so basically that's all for today. I spent a lot of time to cover this